quick disclaimer to the audience. India is getting some work done at her abode.
Yes.
So if it sounds like someone's getting hammered to death, it's just a wall.
Yes,
Oh.
believe that. It is just a wall. There's no one banging to get out of my basement.
Wow, okay.
No one.
Welcome, it's 10 Very Big Books. Today we're talking about Gardens of the Moon, Book 3, The Mission, Onos T'oolan and the T'oolan Mass. That's right, it's the Rivi Plains. We're doing it all backwards today. The introduction is coming last. My name is Peter Bond, and with me is my friend and closest confidant, not a murderer, India Jones.
Aloha.
And of course, the mad puppet of this particular podcast, Joshua Baker.
You're all my marionettes, and it's all a dream.
That was fantastic.
Thank you.
You know, I actually felt like I had a fun banter thing I wanted to do, but it seems like we really kind of we kind of used up all the juice, so to speak, you know?
Can we just use a little more? There's a little, you ring it real tight, there's a little bit left.
I don't think so, and I think this particular...
Hold on, I'm swishing the bottle. There's some juice left in that bad boy.
Oh, actually, no. Do you know what? It's just like that kind of condensation with traces of the juice. You know, it's like the little water at the bottom of the mustard.
It's like juice adjacent.
There's nothing, that was a horrible one. Water at the bottom of the mustard. You didn't shake it. You didn't shake that bad boy.
I don't know what that one got me so good.
Oh my god, this opening's a gangbuster. It's a rocket straight to the moon.
Garden of the moon.
And with that,
spawn.
with that, all right. Let me summarize.
Off to a great start as always.
Chapter 8. The bridge burners have arrived north of Darujistan. On the shores of Lake Azure, the Black Moranth unload munitions and confer with Whiskey Jack. Quick Ben uses his magic to contact Hairlock. The puppet emerges from the chaos between Warrens and informs Quick Ben about the Hound of Shadow, Perrin, and Tattersail. Afterwards, the bridge burners set sail for Darujistan, with Quick Ben proposing something to Whiskey Jack. Josh, this is our first time seeing the bridge burners after we learned about the characters inside Darujistan, and we're catching up with their mission to try and come to approach and siege the city. What did you think about it?
Well, I thought it was, first off, I saw that it was 12 pages, and I was pretty hype.
Pleasantly surprised.
Yes, and but I thought it was interesting. I missed my boy Whiskey Jack. He starts off talking to the Moranth.
Yeah, Bug's Life.
The bug people, which I've before asked about, and every answer I get, I still don't quite understand. But I'm gonna go with it. It was interesting to see that they kind of like treated him with some respect. Like we keep getting told that Whiskey Jack is this great general, but like I mean, I feel like if even like these bug people acknowledge him, I'm like, how did you end up here in this shitty mission?
Yeah,
it was interesting to see that, like, you know, he's in this bad position, but like obviously the dude's done some shit to get some respect, which was cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, I think later on when we're in Pale, they talk about how he used to be Dujek's commander. You know,
yes.
He's clearly a storied veteran.
Yeah, I also I mean, whenever I'm with it's so weird because when you're with the bridge burners, like.
Yeah.
These characters in any other fantasy novel, like, they would be the main characters, that like the only characters, and we would see, and it's so wild that like they have their own lives and this own great story, but we don't get to see it. We get to see these like glimpses into it, and I hate it and I love it.
Really interesting. What do you think about that, Inge?
Okay, I didn't know that there was bug people in that chapter, so that's fascinating.
That's when Perrin first shows up on Genabacchus, he flies on a giant bug to the city of Pale.
Oh, in this chapter?
No, like 4 or 5 chapters ago.
No, I'm talking about this chapter. I didn't realize that he was talking to a bug person at all.
Ah, I see.
But when does the plan come into? Because that's all I really got from this chapter was that there was a plan, and he's like, I wonder what bullshit Sari's up to. And then that's really what I got from it. Like, they were going on a boat, and audiobook is off to a bad start. We'll say that much.
Yeah, well, they're staging the plan.
And then, wait. Let me just tell you from what I understood.
Okay.
And then we can go from there. So there were two people with two conflicting ideas of how this plan was going to go.
Sure.
And then they were like, one guy was like, we could do your plan, but it'd get us all killed. So we're going to do my plan. And so then but nobody knows how to ride a boat or to do something with a boat except for Sorry. And Sorry's
no one knows how to fish except for Sorry.
Yeah.
And then everyone's
like, I can
what's
fish.
up, Sorry?
Yeah.
You know, seems like a strange skill for her to have to them.
And then, yes. And then I found out later that apparently Whiskey Jack's gone. He went somewhere else with, I guess maybe he was with a different team of people.
Yeah, they split up. Kalam, Quick Ben, and Sorry kind of go off, and then Whiskey Jack and the rest of the soldiers are in a kind of separate team.
And was the little marionette in this chapter? Yes, he was. Yes, he was, because this is when I was in the supermarket.
Sense memory.
That.
And so, yes. And then he
kind of sums up what happened in the city of Pale when the Hound of Shadow attacked Perrin and Tattersail.
Right. Yes. But whoever he was talking to who controls him is right?
Quick Ben. They're allies. He doesn't control the puppet.
Oh, I thought he said that he did.
Well, yeah, the puppet kind of like.
Well, the puppet is like
yeah.
answering to him. Like, you know, they're allies. I don't know if he controls him. He summoned him.
Oh.
You know, like he summoned Hairlock to him.
I think it's more that they're bound and that
they
Quick
did use
Ben,
that word, yeah.
Quick Ben kind of has like some weird connection that like he could kind of mess with Hairlock, but it's tenuous at best.
Yeah, and
it's not like Quick Ben can be like, yo, bring me some grape soda.
Right.
And Hairlock's like, I must.
He did say that I don't remember what he said, but basically like it's getting harder to like not control, but I guess I don't know. He said something grows, like he's getting more in control.
Yeah. You'll remember Hairlock is like not technically within one of the Warrens, right?
Yeah, that's why he's like crazy.
He's within the space between the Warrens, chaos as it's called. And like as a result, he's he's losing a few strings, if that puppet makes sense. I don't know.
No, it does. It does. But and then another thing that he said, I'm just trying to understand the small parts, maybe to understand the whole story. So he's like, you can't go to the, like, you know what, it's so confusing. So this guy who's this marionette is in between, so he keeps trying to like get to somewhere, but it like breaks him or something.
He's not trying to get somewhere, you know, he's like acting, and we kind of learn about this later on. He's like, you know, he's a rogue agent.
He's an informant.
He's like informant. He's hunting crows, you know. He's trying to, you know, work with the bridge burners in a way.
Okay, and then I guess my last question is, he was talking like he was getting kind of like working for someone else, kind of, or something, and he had like a knife, and he thought he was gonna like stab him, I think, at some point, but then he just like put it back, and then he read his mind at some point, and his mind said something about Tattersail, I believe. Like,
they talked about Tattersail.
Right, but then he like read his mind, I think. No? Did he not?
Josh, ringing a bell?
No.
Oh.
It doesn't ring a bell for Pete.
That's awkward. I feel like I want to revisit it in my audiobook, but I'll save that for later. Okay, well, yeah, I thought he did, because he was like telling him, he felt like he wasn't telling him everything. Maybe not. So we're not concerned about his allies, who he's... Oh,
well, I mean, I wouldn't say he certainly seems a little unhinged to me.
Oh, for sure.
So he was not at any... He took his little knife out at some point, this little marionette. I know he did. I know he did it.
He's like Chucky in that way.
You know, God damn it. Well, that's all I got from this chapter. So, that's all I know.
Well, hopefully that cleared something up. I can't promise it did.
No, I guess it does make sense, but maybe you could explain to me more so about the plans. And they were throwing a lot of names around in the audiobook, and I was just not following.
You'll remember Hairlock kind of ended up as a puppet because the High Mage Tayshrin kind of like betrayed him and the other wizards during the Battle of Pale. Mm-hmm. So that's how he ends up in puppet form. So he's certainly motivated to work against Tayshrin. What I really liked about this chapter is, I feel like, especially, if you compare it to next chapter, often I feel like there's a lot of plot and we're, rushing to, and you're, rushing to understand who, what, why, where, there's so much you're trying to take in. And what I liked about this chapter is it was very small. It was, it was just, here are the bridge burners. Here's what they're up to. And then here's Trots being a silly guy.
Trots is fun.
Trots is fun, and that's what I enjoyed spending time with the characters, and I think for me, I was so caught off guard by this chapter, because when I think about the book, I think about, kind of the larger story in a way, and not necessarily the smaller character moment.
It's very impressive that you can imagine a larger story in this, because to me it's just a bunch of little sub stories going on with no clear plot of a larger story actually at all.
But there were the Darujistan, India.
I don't Darujistan.
Nice.
Oh, damn it.
And on that, Chapter 9. Tok the Younger, an outrider in the Second Army, and Claw rides towards Pale. He comes across corpses and follows the track south. Tok finds the Imperial adjunct Lorne being ambushed by Barghast. He helps rescue her along with the help of Tool, a T'oolan Mass. Tok and the adjunct ride the same horse towards Pale. Perrin wakes up, his memory clouded, and doesn't remember the Hound of Shadow attack. Tattersail thinks somebody has intervened to save Perrin's life. Tok and the adjunct arrive in Pale, greeted by Dujek. The city is being occupied, the nobility culled by Tayshrin. They speak of Opan's involvement, and Lorne learns that Tattersail is in the city. They have a dinner. Tattersail and Perrin attend. The dinner begins with Lorne accusing Tattersail of slaughtering her family. They nearly duel. Tattersail almost surrenders herself, but Dujek puts a stop to it. They speak shortly about Opan and Shadowthrone and then retire. Afterwards, Perrin reveals that the adjunct sent him to Genabacchus to find Sari. Tattersail decides to leave to find the bridge burners, but before she does, they spend the night together. Adjunct Lorne and Tool discuss the T'oolan Mass. Crone flies towards the warlord, Caladan Brood. So India, this is, in this chapter we meet Tool, Onos T'oolan, as his full name would be.
Did you just pull that name out of nowhere?
I don't know. That's his name. Anyway, Tool.
Damn.
And he's a member of the T'oolan Mass, and this is our kind of first time seeing them.
Ugh.
Any first impressions about them?
Yeah, Peter, I gotta say, that name is not ringing any bells. Maybe
The
you can
T'oolan Mass?
Yeah. Maybe you could describe
I got it.
him.
Yeah, take it,
So
Josh.
a week and a half ago when I read this chapter, I texted Peter and said, how the fuck are we 60% of the way through this book or whatever, and they're just revealing the existence of like a multi-thousand strong army of undead people who were, we later find out, I guess, conscripted by the previous emperor?
Yeah.
Also, they have magic canceling abilities.
Did they kill the corpses in the beginning?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then...
Oh!
And then, like, Tool kind of shows up out of the ground and, like, kind of saves the day.
And then he grabs the guy and breaks the leg and stabs him.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
him?
exactly.
Yeah, he's an undead bone man.
Oh, I love
He's
him. I love him.
He's a skeleton man. Oh, I'm a big Tool fan.
I like that he came out of the ground. I like that he's
Big fan of
he has, like,
Schism,
old clothes
the
on.
pot.
I like that he really came through in that moment. But it was that was a very violent scene.
Yeah, it was a little
No,
violent.
I'm a little upset we just kind of yelled over my sweet references to Tool the band, but
It was too
Listen,
whatever.
I wasn't listening, but...
Sorry, I was having a moment of clarity.
I loved it.
I just want to appreciate during the Tool Love Fest, I think he ends the next chapter with the great quote about futility. Oh, it's so good. Ugh.
Here, I'll stall while Peter looks it up.
I got it.
So,
Nice try. Your Tool references aren't getting out today, Josh.
I was going to talk about the 76ers.
Tell me, Tool, what dominates your thoughts? The IMAS shrugged before replying. I think of futility, adjunct. Do all IMAS think of futility? No. Few think at all. Why is that? The IMAS leaned his head to one side. Because, Adjunct, it is futile. And then Lorne says, let's go, Tool. We're wasting our time.
That's... Tool's had a long time to think of some zingers, and he really throws them down.
Oh, Tool's got the zingers. He's got them stored up. So, Josh, we also meet kind of Tok the Younger, and he kind of befriends Gnois, and he kind of comes into the fold. Any Tok the Younger thoughts?
So, I know we met Tok briefly.
He helped introduce Perrin first to the city.
Yes, I gotta tell you, I'm a pretty big fan of Tok the Younger. He's go ahead. You moved your face towards the mic.
Well, that makes two of us.
Oh, so
hey, 3 of us.
Ayo, Tok City up here.
Talk City, bitch.
We should rename the podcast Talk and Talk. What do we think?
Fuck me, that's good.
Anyway.
All right, good talk. So
good talk.
Anyway, so I like Tok the Younger because he like straddles that he's a claw, which they've been presented as kind of like, you know, killers trained from a young age who have no remorse. But then Tok's also like, yeah, but then I was in this army for 4 years and there's some cool dudes. And I love that, like, no one in this world is free from being human. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
That's an
like,
insightful
it's really
thought.
Yeah. I crushed that. So I mean, I don't know. Like in so many fantasy novels,
he's got like a split loyalty. He's a man of two minds.
In so many fantasy books, like the people are like, oh, super edge claw people. I serve one master, and he is death. And Tok's like, oh, these soldiers are pretty cool dudes. And he's also like him in that dinner scene is great.
Oh yeah,
because he is.
I love that in the dinner scene, Erickson chooses to write it from his point of view. And he does this all the time. And that's one of the things I like so much about the series is that, like, in a room, there'll be, you know, a god and all these things, all these powerful people. And the point of view will be of, like, the normal Joe Schmo in the room.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, I love how out of depth he just so is in that scene. And like,
he's just chilling.
Yeah. He's like, because, I mean, you know, there's the whole shit where, like, Tattersail and Lorne are about to deal, and, you know, Tok he can't take sides, but he's also, like, not trying to let people just murder each other. I don't know. I love a lot of it. And I know what you're thinking. What do they have at this dinner? Good news. It's Taco Tuesday.
India, what did you think of the dinner? Kind of the centerpiece scene of the chapter, in my mind.
I mean, I did not get as much of it out of it as it seems Josh did. However, is this scene back in time?
No.
Or no? Oh, at all? Like,
No.
None of that chapter was back in time.
None of the chapters back in time. What are we doing?
My God. Okay, never mind then. I don't know, because I just thought that because the puppet came and was like talking all this shit about what was going on with Tattersail, and then she was like, I'm awake in the next chapter.
Well, like,
I see.
there's sort of flashbacks, like, for a moment.
Well, you know, you gotta think, like, I guess the Hound of Shadow attacks Pale in, like, chapter 4 or whatever. So I think, you know, it took some time for Hairlock to get there. So these two things are probably happening concurrently, but Hairlock is, like, a few days, you know, like, Whiskey Jack is getting a few days old news.
Okay, all right.
Like, there's a delay in the news. There's not a delay in time.
Yes, all right.
Are you playing a game on your phone, Ange? What are you doing?
No. Okay, this is just getting really hard. I don't think I can do the audiobook. It's really hard to follow. But I need to know, is Lorne the thing?
Mage Killer. Adjunct to the Empress.
Adjunct. Okay. Same person.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really understand why they call her both names, but it's fine.
Well, the adjunct is her, like, title.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, she's cool. I couldn't tell the difference between. Is she a magic person?
No, her sword is anti-magic. It's made out of the stopping magic metal, Ototarl.
Now, okay, on that subject. And
sure.
This is probably spoilery, so you probably can't say anything. She mentions, after she gets hurt, they're like, oh, we'll bring our best, you know, healing mages. And she's like, at this point, you know, magic doesn't affect me. What's up with that? Is she just, like, immune to it? Is it just, like, should she touch the sword too long? Like... Like, is she the mage killer because she has the sword, or is she the mage killer because she has some inherent physical thing that has, like, aided her against mages?
More the former than the latter. She's killed a lot of mages. She has this sword. She has the Odoterals.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not an inherent thing. She's a human.
Gotcha.
Any other thoughts, or do we want to keep on trucking, so to speak?
I'd like to truck.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, let's truck. Chapter 10. Perrin and Tak meet up at an inn. Tak is surprised to see the captain alive. Together, they decide to furtively follow Tattersail's trail. Tattersail's on the Rivi Plain and encounters Bellurdan waiting to arrest or kill her. They converse. Bellurdan reveals that Tayshrin was researching an ancient Jagat tyrant whose tomb lies east of Darujistan. Given no choice, Tattersail opens her warren. Affected by the elder magic of the T'oolan Mass, it engulfs both she and Bellurdan in flame. Lorne and Tool watch the warrens burn, observing the elder warren, Starval Demelaine. Crone speaks with Kaladin Brood about Anomander Rake, Opan, and the Crimson Guard. Tak and Perrin find Tattersail's body, with tiny tracks leading away from it. They suspect Lorne was involved, and Perrin swears revenge. Crone reunites with her ravens and discusses the Elder Sorcery over the Rivi Plains. They see it as a puppet who is attacking ravens over the plain. Crone flies back to Moonspawn to tell Anomander Rake, whilst Hairlock tracks the adjunct Lorne and Tool. I'm gonna go first. You know, it's gonna be a little twist for this section.
I like it.
And here's why. Because, you know, I'm reading through the second time, and, you know, I have such memories of reading the book, being so confused, and one of, what I would say, the defining features of the confusion is every few sentences you read this name, and you're like, oh, wait a second, do I know this person, and then, like, you cut away, and it's a completely new person you've never heard of, and you're like, who's this person? You know, I'm always trying to figure out who or these things. However, reading through this time, you know, I know who all the main characters are, you know, or who the more important characters. So, like, every time I read, like, Anomander Rake, I see it in, like, big, bold letters or something, because I'm like, oh, important character, you know. However, you know, that's hindsight's 20/20. You do not have that knowledge. And I had an identical experience when Crone was talking to Kaladin Brood about the Crimson Guard and brings up one of their captains, Jorrick Sharplance, who I'm going to go ahead and spoil it for you is not a primary character for the rest of the series.
Okay.
Good to know.
I read this name and I was like, who the fuck is Jorrick Sharplance? I've never heard of this character in my life. And, you know, it was a real throwback to having no clue who anyone was. So that's what I wanted to share from Pete.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Pete.
This has been Pete shares it.
I'm never gonna share again. You know, I just feel
really insightful thoughts.
I feel unappreciated. I feel like I just share stuff and it lands like a Led Zeppelin.
They did pretty well, actually.
I knew I shouldn't have said it.
You fucking idiot.
Oh my god, Josh! Before we got on air, you said you liked the Kaladin Brood stuff. What did you think of meeting the warlord of the Rivi Plains?
Okay, before we do that, I would like to go on record and say Bellurdan is my least favorite character so far in this whole book.
Why is that?
Fuck
I guess
that
we're
guy.
just screw Kaladin Brood. We're
gonna get to Kaladin in a second, but all Bellurdan has done is not be successful at Moonspawn.
That's true. Not entirely his fault.
Yeah, alright. Fucking hold his ex-lover's body and remains in a bag. Be pretty weird about it. Not move. Not be dead. Just unmoving for a few days. When someone's like, hey, that smells like shit. Can I, like, preserve it? He's like, yeah, dope. And now we discover that he didn't bury it. He's still just holding on to this bag. Alright?
He's chilling.
Okay, but fucking Tayshrin's the one that got his lover dead. And he's here like, oh, well, fuck you, Bellurdan, you idiot. Alright, now let's go.
What was the question?
Okay, now Kaladin Brood.
Well, I feel like we should talk about Bellurdan now, you know.
I've said what I've said. He's dead, who gives a shit?
Cutthroat.
Alright, so Kaladin Brood. We know almost nothing about him. What I find very concerning for the good people, and by good people, actually, who the fuck even is good, man?
The non-Malazan forces.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, Animander Rake we've seen, and it's pretty clear he's fucking powerful, and I feel like up until this point, I assumed that among the mortals, he was the most powerful in the game. And Kaladin Brood really does not seem to give two shits about him, and I was like, that's either dumb, or this dude's so powerful, like, he just doesn't give a shit. And that's concerning.
Well, Kaladin Brood certainly has some power to him.
Yeah, I'm curious to see...
I don't know how much I can say. So
yeah, I assume not. It's okay. Now his army. This was a thing I was trying to piece together.
They're like he is the warlord of like the local plainsmen who are allying against. Oh god,
I'm gonna say this, India. If you understood any of this section, I would be okay. You're shaking your head. So.
I was like wondering if my absence of speaking was going to be brought up, and you just outed me. So
no, because let me tell you, I had the luxury of seeing all these words, and I could not keep track of them. So like
it was the Jorrick Sharplance that really threw you off.
Yeah. So they're like north of Pale in some woods.
Yes.
And is this like a coalition of a lot of different peoples?
Yeah. So there's like. Amongst the people that have been opposing the imperial conquest of Genabacchus, there's like the free cities, all of which have been conquered.
Right.
Out next to Darujhistan. Okay. And then there's kind of like, this loose coalition of forces. There's this warlord, Kaladin Brood. There's these sellswords, the Crimson Guard. And they're mercenaries. And there's Moonspawn and all the Tisti Andi on it, So there's like a kind of loose floating army that's been fighting them, in addition to these free cities that have been falling.
Okay,
fighting Malazan?
Yeah, yes. Fighting the Malazan.
And we don't really know their motivations yet, other than like not wanting to be in the Malazan Empire, right?
Which I think is a motivator for many people.
It's a pretty good one. Going off of that, because like we're pretty early on in this series, like how much of the world is now this empire?
Yeah, great question.
Also, how many continents are there, and can I have a map?
There's maps in the PowerPoint.
Yeah.
What?
Great time as any. Time to shout out. I think we did it before. We've used You Sleep in X on X Bed. The PowerPoints off of the Malazan subreddit. They're a great resource to people who are trying to read the books. So.
No, don't tell them that. We're a great resource for people trying to read the books.
Oh, the 7 cities.
I'm trying to spread the love. Spread the love, Inge.
No.
All right. Well, let's enough Kaladin Brood talk. Let's talk about Inge between you choose between Perrin, Hairlock kind of causing trouble, and then Tattersail's confrontation with Bellurdan, and then their flamey engulfing death. Any of those stand out to you? Take your pick.
All right, I'm gonna start with Tattersail. I actually thought I really enjoyed her character for the brief time that she was there, and I really thought that she was gonna be like a main, just because for some reason she seems like the only character that isn't really like an asshole. I don't know. However, I did think she was kind of an asshole during the something of Pale
Siege.
Yes. So, I'm sad that she's dead. I don't get why or how it happened. I thought that she had a warrant and was able to use it. Why did she die?
Okay,
well, Josh, you take it.
Okay, so first off, here's what I want to say. I haven't read the books, but like I've read a lot of fantasy books, and if I've ever seen they're not dead, they've changed shape. This is the biggest one I've ever seen. Like, she's not dead.
I want you to look at Peter's face, and I think that you're right.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Because she has, so she, like, in that last moment, and again, this is, like,
look at him.
One sentence. Is he good?
He's not good. You solved the puzzle. She's actually...
Yeah, she's super alive. Well, because, like, again, with the audiobook, there's, like, one sentence that said...
That doesn't...
Peter, come back
means
here.
Nothing.
Come back, Peter. Okay.
Let it be known Peter's hiding his head behind a blanket right now. No, because there's like a sentence where she's like, and then she thought of Hairlock, and I was like, oh, so she's gonna put her body in something else or some bullshit. But then they said childlike foots, and now I'm wondering if she's like a baby, which seems like a twist.
Look at Peter.
Oh, Peter's fucking face.
I can't speak about anything, you know?
Either I'm so right or I'm just not even close.
It's just hard, you know? There's this mystery and you're just taking big shots and I just don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, well, who knows? You could do like we did during Game of Thrones and claim to not have read the books.
I didn't read the books.
I didn't. Let's go with that. I actually haven't read the book. I don't know.
Okay, good. That's my theory, India.
I appreciate that theory. Good, because I really couldn't imagine. I mean, every character seems like a main character, but she seems like a super main, so...
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Ah, damn it. I missed 4 things in my trash can just then.
It's not about the shots that you take. Never mind.
And that's the attitude I want us to bring to reading Gardens of the Moon.
It's not about how many you miss. No, what is it? It's just about fear of striking out. Come on, what's the quote?
No, you got it.
I think you've said it.
It's not about fear of striking out.
I think you've said all the words, just not in the order.
It's just about playing the game.
Give it one more shot.
Okay, it's not about fear of striking out.
You know what, Inge? You know what?
I'm gonna cut my losses and let's just move on.
No. You know what, Inge? You know what? Let's start wrapping it up, and then at the very end, we'll let you go out and nail the phrase. You know.
Okay, fine.
Well, that sounds optimistic. As always, so I guess
don't let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game.
Oh, she did it.
Boom.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. It wasn't the end.
Oh.
All right. Josh, fill airwaves.
Fill airwaves. All right. There's this new song that Peter introduced me to today.
All right, we're done.
God damn it! Every time.
We'll let you know next week.
Well,
Philadelphia.
All right. That's gonna do it for us this week on 10 Very Big Books. Next week, we're going to be reading Book 4, Assassins, and I think it's chapters 11, 12, and 13. Look for us then. We'll post the date. Maybe we'll edit in and afterwards. As always, tell a friend, at 10 Very Big Books on Twitter and the Gmail. Send us a comment. I'm sure we'll post on the Reddit. We'll be around in the comments talking to folks. And then we're actually we're recording this the day we just put the podcast up on the internet. We're having a few in the bank, and we want to get things going, but we received a lot of great feedback, so we just wanted to thank everyone for listening. Josh, do you have any predictions going forward? We're like midway through the book now. You actually could make a prediction.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to cover my face regardless of your prediction. So.
Okay. So I'm going to take a bold guess. So we met the Darujistan clan, and I think the Darujistan clan is going to mess with the plan that the bridge burners are going to enact. You know what I mean?
You think our 2 sets of heroes are going to collide?
Yeah, well, the 2 sets of main characters that are in this city, I think they're going to collide. What I don't know, however...
Any guess on who's coming out on top?
That's what I'm getting ready to say. I don't know whether it will be a straight conflict or whether there'll be some vestiges of working together, you know what I mean? Because I could see the bridge burners spinning what they're doing in a way that could sound maybe as a positive to our miscreants in Darujistan. But we'll see.
India, any prediction? You predicted there would be more romance, and people got down this chapter, so...
Yeah.
So far...
I'm spot on with the predictions, I know. It's like I read the books. But I think that... Who was the coin bearer?
Oh, shit.
Josh, you got it?
No, that fucking kid, man.
It's a kid.
The young thief, Crocus Younghand.
Crocus. God damn it.
I think young Crocus is going to come through at some point, and he's going to do something that's going to be life-changing.
He's going to do something. I agree.
That specificness.
So you let me know if you think that's a good prediction.
All right. And the phrase I was thinking you meant to say was, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That's Wayne Gretzky, that's motherfucker.
Mm-hmm. I think that was more so where I was. Yes, that's 100% where I was going, Peter. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
but I'd like to thank Peter for knowing the quote that I was going to say.
You said a better quote, though. Whatever shit you said was hella better than that.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Don't let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game. Yes.
Is that a real quote?
Yeah, it's from a Cinderella story with Hilary Duff.
Oh,
Look it up.
fuck you.
Oh my god.
God damn it.
All right.
Get me out of this fucking podcast.
See, we'll be back soon. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Love you. Good night.
Hello, everyone. It's producer AJ here again. We hit a milestone earlier this week when the podcast surpassed 1,000 total listens. That is absolutely bonkers. And we are so incredibly excited that you're enjoying this show as much as you are. Please keep listening. Please keep telling people. Keep tweeting us. We really love when people say, hey, I just came across this. I just started reading this book and it popped up in my podcast feed. And that's really great. Just keep telling your friends. Rate us and review us on Apple Podcasts. That'll really help us out. We also want to thank Dan Gesrick for making our logo. You can follow him on Twitter at Dan Gesrick for the hottest contact solution takes. And of course, all of the music for the show comes from Amaranthin's album Simulant Rain, which you can find on bandcamp.com. Links to their pages will be in the show notes, and 10 Very Big Books will be back in 2 weeks. That is June 21st, 2019. Thanks so much for listening. See you then.